What is happening? I want to talk to you today about a very big problem that I am having with this bike. And it's not what you think. It's not a mechanical problem. It's the fact that this motorcycle is absolutely tanking this channel. I mean, the channel has just fallen down in the stats. Nobody's watching, nobody's clicking. So I'm going to hop on the Street Bob, go for a ride with you, and explain to you what's going on. Oh, and by the way, I am tuning the bike right now, or attempting to, and that's why we have all of this going on. Ignore it. You won't see it here again. Let's get her into neutral, and let's start her up. Wow, this is an amazing day to go riding. The weather is absolutely awesome. Getting some overcast, sun, mid-70s. Just fantastic. But back to the topic at hand. Let's talk about how this bike is destroying this channel. And to do that, I need to explain to you why I have more than one bike, briefly, and then explain to you the challenge with having more than one bike on a YouTube channel. In particular, having this bike on my channel. So I have multiple motorcycles, but really I just want 3. I think 3 is the magic number. I like to have a sporty bike that you can kind of go out and carve corners with, but not something so powerful that you're going to go to jail, you know, or put yourself at, you know, an enhanced level of risk. Not a leader bike, not a hooligan bike. Think SV650 or maybe lightweight inline 4. And right now, an SV650 is occupying that position. TBD if it stays there. That's another story for another time. And on the other end of the bike garage, I like to have a dual sport or lightweight ADV bike. Think KTM 390 Adventure. I used to have one of those, great bike. Currently it's a DR650 that I like a lot, or I like the idea of a lot. Still working through a few small things on that bike, but it runs great. And the general idea is just to have a bike you can take anywhere and do anything on with good range. Not necessarily a fast bike, not even necessarily a charisma bike, but just something that will be lightweight and is easy to go places on. And those are the bookends, right? With the sporty bike on one side of the garage and the ADV bike / dual sport on the other side, I like to slot an all-around street bike in the middle. Think something like this, although this is a little extreme. Think the BMW R9T that you just saw back in the driveway. Something along those lines. Something that you can ride pretty much anywhere on any day. But I want something there that has a lot of charisma. It is the slot that is charisma focused, because when you get on that bike, in my opinion, you should feel like a dude or a character in your own movie, whatever, you know, analogy you'd like to use. And as much as I love the BMW R9T, I got bitten by the American V-twin bug earlier this year. And the thing is, I'm not a Harley guy at heart. You know, I'm just not. What I wanted was a V-twin cruiser experience. But the challenge with that is, the challenge with getting away from a Harley and getting that experience is that if you want that vibey, choppy sound, this is really your only choice. Not this bike in particular, but Harley air-cooled engines. Indians come close. They have, at least the Power Stroke Indians do. They have a, 46 degree, just a slightly wider V-twin design with a single crank pin, and they have a very similar character. You can tell that they're trying to take what this engine does and exaggerate the experience a little bit. But metric cruisers, for example, the ones that are V-twins, think Honda Shadow, think Kawasaki Vaquero, Suzuki Boulevard or whatever, all of those engines are not like this at all. They look kind of like this, and they look kind of like the Indian, but they intentionally tune the vibiness out. Another topic for another time, but it basically puts you in an Harley or maybe an Indian if you want that vibey experience. And this is the problem. This is why I'm having problems with this channel, because I wanted that and I chose Harley instead of Indian. I just saw 3 detonation events on the front cylinder. This is not a good thing, but another topic for another time. But that's why I'm monitoring this, y'all. I'm just wanting to see how it's running, and I'm having some challenges. So let's get back to the topic and talk a little bit about why this Harley is bad. Let's hypothesize for just a minute that I had bought a Sport Chief instead of this bike, and that was the way I was originally heading. Honestly, I don't think the channel would have suffered. And here's the reason why. My channel is really about having multiple bikes and enjoying multiple bikes, so I switch back and forth quite a bit. And YouTube doesn't like that. The algorithm wants to see the same kind of stuff so that it can push that to the same kind of people. And even the kind of diversity that I've had on my channel. You know, DR650 one video, R9T another video, ZX4RR another video. That kind of inconsistency has caused the channel to grow very slow. And why it might be your first time here. But if you throw a Harley into the mix, things become even more polarized, and here's why. Some people that enjoy my content, that watch a DR650 video, they may choose to watch another video because it's something that I've done. They kind of know my brand, they know what I'm about. But I feel like the Harley culture in real life is so polarized from the rest of the world that when I put the content about this bike on the channel, you guys think I've switched teams and I've gone all in on Harley. And the truth is, I haven't. I just like the damn bike. Again, you can't get this experience really many other places. It's this or Indian. So you don't click, and YouTube doesn't know what to do about it. When it tries to push this content to the Harley guys, they don't know who I am. The content is brand new. And if they click on it and you're not clicking on it, then it starts to shift the content away from my base over to the Harley world. But I haven't produced enough videos in the Harley domain to get any real traction there. And if they see that I have other bikes on the channel, they're less likely to click. And this is just like what you see in real life. I mean, how many times do you see Gixxer bras or ninja girls hanging out at a Harley meet? You just don't. I mean, you might have a few that show up out of curiosity, but in general, they're not riding together. They're just not. And, you know, the inverse is also true. You may see a few Harley stragglers at a group ride, but those aren't typically your core Harley guys or gals, and there's just not enough of them to make up the difference on YouTube. You know, there's just not enough people like me that will ride anything just because it's a motorcycle. Well, as long as it has gas in it. Not a big fan of the electric stuff. But there's just not enough of us. And it's a real shame, but I think I understand why this is. If you think about Harley, what kind of person buys a Harley, I feel like you can group them into 2 main categories. Category 1, think Sons of Anarchy, think Mayans, think Hell's Angels, think extreme counterculture bikers that are boosting cars and robbing 18-wheelers and all the other nonsense, selling meth, whatever, all the junk that you see on TV. Although a lot of it is rooted in real life, you know, you see these guys on the road at night sometimes, they're wearing their colors, and you know, as a Harley rider like me, you shouldn't even wave at those guys. Just don't mess with them, don't acknowledge them, don't even try to pay them a compliment. They're too outside of the norm for you to interact with. That is, you know, group 1. And group 2 are middle-aged and older guys and gals that want that badass image, but somehow along the way they get confused and they put big stereos on their bikes and they ride around blasting Don Henley and AC/DC for everybody else to hear, even if they don't like it. That's the two kind of groups I see that primarily buy Harleys. And look, y'all, no disrespect. Honestly, if I didn't like the bikes, I wouldn't be on one right now talking about it, right? But I don't think that the rest of the motorcycling world wants anything to do with that for whatever reason. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's a bit of a shame because these bikes, they're really cool. And I think if you've never ridden one, you're really truly missing out on something different. It is its own thing. It is an experience to ride and is full of, character. Oh, sorry, I had to stop and clean the camera. If you've been putting up with the bug on the video for the last 10 minutes, my apologies to you, but there's no way for me to know. And this bike is really all about character. I mean, in my opinion, that's the only reason these Milwaukee 8-engine powered Harleys still exist, There's nothing about these bikes that make any sense. There really isn't. They're not the most powerful. In fact, they're extremely underpowered in terms of horsepower per, cubic inch of displacement. They do have a lot of torque though. And they're definitely not smooth, but that's not what you're looking for. When you buy these bikes, you're buying them because of the way they look, the way they feel, and the way they make you feel. And frankly, there's just nothing else like them. It's a really amazing motorcycle, and I just hate the fact that so many people refuse to engage with it because it's not objectively good on paper and because the Harley culture precludes them or deters them from engaging with this motorcycle. It really sucks. And it doesn't really suck for Harley that much. I mean, one could argue that it does because their audience might be shrinking. But it sucks for everybody else that doesn't get to enjoy it. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Up until the last year, I didn't understand it. I've always kind of flirted with the idea of having one. But there was really only one Harley for me, and that was the Lowrider S. And look, I still think that's an amazing bike, right? I just didn't want to spend Lowrider S money. And aesthetically speaking, this bike had a lot of the same kind of vibe, and so that's what I chose. But, I hope that you, the watcher of this video, I hope that you get out and try one of these things and kind of just put the preconceptions aside. You might be right, or you probably are, that your prejudices or preconceptions of most Harley riders are true. There's a lot to back that up. I don't even think Harley would deny it, and I don't think that the riders of a Harley would deny it. But I also think that if you can look past that, you'll find something potentially that is truly unlike any other motorcycle out there. And that doesn't make me a Harley fanboy. It just makes me a fan of this format, I really hope that some other bike manufacturer decides to get over themselves and just give it a shot, There's no reason that Honda couldn't do this. They could totally revamp their engine on the Shadow to make it vibe like this. There's no reason that Kawasaki couldn't put some soul back in the Vaquero. God knows it needs it. But until that day happens, it's this or Indian. And getting back to what I said earlier, had I bought an Indian, I don't think it carries the same cultural challenges that the Harley does. Sure, it looks similar, so some people are going to write it off. But I think it's a little more acceptable by the non-Harley community simply because it's not a Harley. If you like this content, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And if you don't like it, tell me you want to see it move to another channel and I'll get back to my other motorcycle content like the DR650 and the R9T, and I'll put this somewhere else so it doesn't get in y'all's way and vice versa. Later.